a game changer for Ghana's agricultural sector. We are honored that no less a personage than the chairperson of the Council of State, Dwabinhene Nana Otuo-Sribwa II, is presiding over this important ceremony. It testifies to its significance. And Nana Chairman, we are grateful. Since its introduction into the then Gold Coast by Tete Kwasi in the late 19th century, cocoa has remained the major export tree crop and by far the major source of foreign exchange earnings. Not only did cocoa become the cash cow and dominant export commodity, it also put Ghana on the world map as the leading producer of premium cocoa globally for a long period. Over the years, Ghana has ceded that enviable position to Côte d'Ivoire, our western neighbor. We now have a government in place that is determined to transform the country and the lives of its peoples. Thus, the need for additional sources of revenue, from amongst others the tree crop sector, has become a national imperative, especially when note is taken of the fact that Côte d'Ivoire again has made a great success of diversifying her agricultural sector. We all know that Ghana is endowed with a number of cash crops that are in demand on the global market. Our strategy is thus to promote the development of tree crops other than cocoa with equal or even higher economic potential. That is why on the 23rd of April 2019, at the Nursing and Midwifery Training College School Park in Dunkwa on Ofin in the Central Region, I signaled a change in our country's agricultural direction and its over-reliance on cocoa by launching the Planting for Export and Rural Development, PERD, program. The Tree Crops Development Authority, which is the legal and institutional outcome of PERD, will lead the agenda for the diversification of Ghana's agriculture by developing the tree crop sector. To kickstart the implementation of PERD, 7 tree crops, namely mango, cashew, shea, rubber, cocoa, oil palm, and coffee, have been identified and selected for promotion under the program, 6 of which are directly under the supervision of the authority. I'm hopeful that sooner than later, coffee will also be brought under the direct supervision of the authority. With its headquarters here in Kumasi, the authority will operate like Cocoa Board and put in places and programs to guide research, production, pricing, and marketing of the 6 tree crops. Currently, cocoa is by far the major export commodity of the country, earning us an annual income of some $2,500,000 United States dollars. But with the economic potential of the 6 selected tree crops properly harnessed, Ghana could soon increase exponentially its agricultural export earnings. To help realize this vision, the implementation modalities of PERD entail the production of seedlings by district assemblies for distribution to farmers and interested persons, particularly the youth. Thus far, a total of 220,227 farmers have enrolled onto the program, whilst 235,850 hectares of land have been cultivated with appropriately 30 million seedlings of the various crops produced. At full implementation, the PERD program will link agriculture to industry through the provision of a solid raw material base for industrialization, develop our rural economies, and assist in the structural transformation of the national economy. All these will propel growth, create employment, particularly for the youth, and the creation of poor and unreliable price mechanism, weak extension services, inadequate credit support, and ineffective public sector assistance. As indicated by that outstanding, knowledgeable Minister for Food and Agriculture, the Honorable Dr. Owusu Akoto, the authority is governed by a 29-member board, of which 24 are nominated by the private sector. Indeed, the National Value Chain Associations nominated members through a process that ensures transparency and commitment of all value chain actors. The board is chaired by a successful, seasoned, respected banker, Mr. Stephen Sekyere-Abankwah, who has deep experience of commodity development and financing and has a very proactive management team consisting of Chief Executive William Kwetu, who was very instrumental in the passage of the law, with two deputies who possess considerable experience in the agricultural sector, Yao Osei Oteng, in charge of finance and administration, and Foster Boateng, in charge of operations. The establishment of the authority and the composition of its board of directors have all gone through the relevant constitutional and statutory processes for their lawful activity. The first members of the board of directors of the Tree Crops Development Authority are: 1. Chairperson, Mr. Sekyere-Abankwah. 2. Chief Executive, Mr. William Kwetu. The representative of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Mr. Yao Edu Ampoma. Representative of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, Robert Ahumkan Lindsay. Representative of the Ministry of Finance, Chief Director Patrick Nomo. The all value chain, the 4 directors nominated are Mr. Isaac Ampofo, Mr. Paul Amenin, Mr. Samuel Avala Awonia, and Mr. Maxwell Ni Komi. The mango value chain's 4 directors are Mrs. Vida Korang, Mr. George Awum, Mr. Anthony Botre, and Mr. Davis Na Kobo. The share value chain are represented by Madam Dora Habosute Torwise, Mrs. Valerie Obazi, Madam Ophelia Nubabare, and Kwame Ejakon Boite Wiafe. The coconut value chain are represented by Mr. Patrick Arilu Indabia, Mr. Kwaku Boateng, Mr. James Andy Kujonunu, and Mr. Saka Ahmed Shuaib. The cashew value chain is represented by Mr. Alexander Joseph Bonsu, Chief Adam Tampuri, Mr. Ed Malvin Ni Ayi Bunte Smith, and Mr. Alex Owusu Ejei. The rubber value chain has Mr. Isaac Castro Bosomtre, Mr. Emmanuel Akwesi Owusu, Mr. James Owusu Krine, and Mr. Simon Tete. I want to assure you of the systematic efforts being made to secure funding for the upgrading of the relevant research institutions to assist in the effective development of the sector. And those efforts, I'm confident, will bear fruit very soon. I'm equally confident that in the fullness of time, government's approach will be wholly vindicated when all these initiatives are vigorously implemented, which I am sure they will be. The overarching vision of a Ghana beyond aid is neither rhetoric nor gimmickry. We're determined through action to achieve this vision, and today's program is a clear indication of our total commitment. With God on our side, we shall surely succeed. To conclude, Nana Chairperson, Senior Minister, Ministers of State, ladies and gentlemen, the inauguration of the Tree Crops Development Authority is an important milestone worth celebrating. And therefore, I invite all of you stakeholders to embrace fully the authority in order to reap the expected benefits. Accordingly, I have the great pleasure to declare the Tree Crops Development Authority duly constituted. May God bless the Tree Crops Development Authority, Asantewaa, and us all. And may God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make her great and strong. I thank you for your attention.
And 0249017101
Another round of applause for the President. Your Excellency, we are very grateful for such an impressive steps that you are taking with your government. It will now be the chairman for the occasion, Nana Otuo-Srebo, to give us his response. His remarks. Thank you. Please.
Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Akufo-addo, Nana Asachehe, representing His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, Honorable Senior Minister, Honorable Ministers present, Honorable Regional Minister, Honorable Metropolitan Chief Executive for Kumasi Metropolis, Chairman Wontumi, members, chairperson, and members of the Tree Crop Development Association. Anytime I'm in a function with the President, I'm put to great lengths and to great difficulty when I have to speak after him. He being an accomplished elocutionist, speaking after him is very, very difficult. And when, fortunately, he didn't say fellow countrymen, otherwise I'd have been even more beaten to it. But, or fellow Ghanaians for that matter. When he speaks, they say, when the big man takes his bath, then the water is exhausted. But we are happy we are living in an area of free water, so there will be sufficient water for us to take our bath. After his keynote address, my remarks may be termed a footnote address, because I can only write at the feet of His Excellency. But as it is said in the Presbyterian Hymn Book 115, verse 2, the 34 April year, the Nidaso, and the Enya Abem, what our forefathers fought for, what they toiled for, by the help of God, it has come to pass. What further testimony or what further gift can those of us in the tree crop sector have than to have a governing authority, which is made up of members from within our associations? We've been fighting for this. I have been in the oil palm sector for over 40 years. And we have been fighting and fighting and fighting, but it has proved of no effect. Now, you need a visionary president to make this come to pass. Mr. President, we are grateful to you. As I said in my opening remarks, The cocoa board is distinct or different from this tree crop board. Cocoa deals with a unicrop. And it is, for that matter, easy because you sing from the same hymn sheet. But here, we are going to weave the cloth with different colors of different hues. And you have to make sure that you come out with a cloth that will be pleasurable to the eye and acceptable to the buyer, like my kente cloth with the modesty. We are going to sing the hymn from different tunes, and we must make sure that the melody that comes out is also acceptable to the ear. If you should shout too much, you would drown the voices of others. If you also don't sing your part very well, your area will be subdued. Now you have your own fate in your own hands. Government comes in as only to supervise and to regulate functions amongst yourselves. We would urge you to apply yourselves diligently to the task ahead. It is no easy being a trailblazer. It is never, never easy because others are going to follow from what you have done. You have no apport to follow. If you have apport, then at least you would have something at least to put you in due shape or into due form. So those of us in the sector, we will look up to you, and we are sure that you will not disappoint us. I had a good look at your CVs by virtue of my other public avocations before this inauguration, and looking at them and the whole litany of different backgrounds and achievements. You have agriculturists who are the same time administrators. You have engineers who are accountants. As operators of the first tree crop development authority. I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Nana. As Nana mounts to take his place on the dais,
His Excellency, the President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-addo, the Chairman, Nana Otuo Sribo II, the Senior Minister, Honorable